Before we're going to start, take note that we will have our quiz at the end of the video. To participate, just comment your answer and first come, first serve. Stay tuned and God bless.
Good day everyone, so this will be our topic for today's lesson and it's all about ICT and assessment of learning. So I will be reporting the first part and the continuation would be reported by Miss Clyden Marafuentes. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about assessment. So assessment is the process of identifying, gathering and interpreting information about students' learning. We all know that technology can help teachers assess their students' learning as well as their performance in the classroom. So the use of ICT in assessment involves the use of digital devices to assess in the construction, delivery, storage, or reporting of students' assessment tests, responses, grades, or feedbacks. Okay, so let's talk about now the 4 types of assessment. So there are 4 types of assessment. So the first one is formative, the second one is summative, the third one is diagnostic, and the fourth one is authentic. So those are the 4 types of assessment. So let's talk about the first type of assessment. We have here formative assessment. So it provides feedback and information during the instructional process while learning is taking place and while learning is occurring. Example of formative assessment include asking students to draw a concept map in the class to represent their understanding of a topic. The second type of assessment will be summative assessment. So summative assessment takes place after the learning has been completed and provides information and feedback that sums up the teaching and learning process. So example of summative assessment is for the student the final presentation, final reports, and their final grades. Now, the third type of assessment will be the diagnostic assessment. So, diagnostic assessment can help you identify your students' current knowledge of a subject, their skill sets and capabilities, and to clarify misconceptions before teaching takes place. Knowing students' strengths and weaknesses can help you better plan what to teach and how to teach it. So, example of diagnostic assessment is the formulation of questionnaires. So a questionnaire serves as a diagnostic activity because it responses and cover or diagnose prominent problems within the organization. So the last type of assessment in assessing the students would be the authentic assessment. So it describes the multiple forms of assessment that reflect students' learning, achievement, motivation, and attitudes on instructionally relevant classroom activities. Authentic assessment can include many of the following examples. We have observation, essays, interviews, performance tasks, exhibitions and demonstration, portfolios, journals, and a teacher-created test. Assessments are authentic if they are realistic, require judgment and innovation, and assess students' ability to effectively use their knowledge or skills to complete a task. So those are the 4 types of assessment: the formative, the summative, the diagnostic, and authentic assessments. Now let's move on and go through the role of ICT in assessment and learning. So let's talk about this one, the role of ICT in assessing the learners. New technologies are created to provide students with higher level thinking skills. So the use of ICT in assessment is very helpful to the teachers because students' information and results of examinations can be recorded and stored and can easily be retrieved. So feedback from the computers during the use of test materials improves students' performance in later use of the same test materials. So the use of ICT in assessment is now common where it utilizes digital devices which help in construction of assessment tests for students. So it really helps in delivery of assessment tests, not only construction or delivery. The ICT has the ability to give grades or feedback to students. In educational assessment, the use of technology as an innovation and support for teaching and learning by Sendu 2013 is essential to improve instruction and increase performance. With an effective classroom assessment systems in place, a valid demonstration of students' learning and progress connected to classroom instruction and experience can be confirmed. Educational assessment, also known as educational evaluation, is the systematic process of finding out about a student's knowledge, experience, skills, and belief using empirical data. So the ultimate goal of this is to quantify and document how much a student knows. There are different ways to carry out educational assessments. So there are different ways to carry out educational assessments. So we have here tests play a vital role in traditional learning as well as learning, and this helps the teachers and the learners measure learning. There are many freeware where the teachers can create quizzes and evaluate learning electronically. Exam software will eliminate the need for monitoring while the exam is being taken. Web-based exam software or an online examination system give a high level of transparency. It is almost impossible to compromise exam questions and evaluations because they cannot also be influenced. Most online exams generate the results instantly, and it is often possible for the exam taker to get information on his results immediately. So all those different ways in teaching are really important and play a vital role while teaching, because teaching a concept in a class, not only it serves the student but it also serves the teachers. And that's all. That's the end of my report, and the continuation will be reported by my partner.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Claudine Merfrantes, and I'm going to continue the discussion. Using web-based exam software or an online examination system has several benefits, right? Similar to pandemic situations where pupils are prohibited from attending school, the pupils are taking their studies online instead of in a traditional classroom. Since students can look up the answer on the internet while taking the exam, it is quite simple for them to pass the test. Additionally, compared to the conventional approach or remote method, it offers a high level of transparency, which is one of its advantages. Exam questions and scores cannot be tampered with, making it nearly impossible to jeopardize them. Major advantages of online examinations are accessibility and flexibility, time management, save costs, and statistical analysis. Security and confidentiality should also be considered. Security needs to be given top priority for any website that you will add information to. Current trends in assessment in learning. Traditional assessment, multiple choice, matching type, true or false, and paper pencil tests. 21st century assessment, utilizing multiple measures, increasing the use of technology, focusing the growth and development of the learner, and differentiating the roles and responsibilities of the teachers, administrators, and other stakeholders. Teachers and students cannot afford this distance in the 21st century. We need to teach students how to apply what they are learning in class to the practical and intellectual tasks in their everyday life in order to help them become college and job prepared. Walpert Gauron, 2010. The concept of classroom has been shifting in recent years with dedication to purposefully designed learning spaces and seamless integration of technologies. Williams, 2017. In the 21st century, we face a global economy in which information moves at the speed of light, making it crucial for our personal and societal well-being to know how to harness and sort through that information. As educators, we are aware that our students must graduate prepared to live and work in this larger society. Education technology is used to increase the efficiency of education and teaching, learning, and assessment. Computers are able to create a more attractive and effective learning environment. Teaser and Osgan, 2011. New, engaging, and creative methods for involving students in active learning while online have been developed through education technology. Active learning activities can be incorporated by teachers into fully online lessons, homework assignments, and even in class online activities. According to Rublier and Edward, 2000, cited in Kieser and Osgan, 2011, there are several benefits for instructors to utilizing technology in the classroom, including increased productivity, support for innovative teaching methods, motivation, and distinct instruction talent, cited in SAMAC 2006. Because they are passive in nature, like reading PDFs, scrolling through slides, and listening to protracted lectures, online learning initiatives frequently fail to engage and instruct learners. Focusing on implementing active learning approaches is one way to make these experiences better. Active learning is any learning activity in which the student interacts or engages with a material as opposed to passively taking in the information. The parents can also help the learners engage in which learning experiences at home and during daily activities such as field trip. The teacher will give learning activities that are intentional, meaningful, and useful. Students can participate in live or recorded talks, written or visual text multimedia, or a combination of these during activities that require them to interact with the topic. In making a live lecture, number 1, form a group of 12 and select the live lecturer, students, cameramen, women, and technical staff. Steps in preparing a live lecture. First, beginning the lecture. Plan an introduction to catch students' interest. Provide a brief general overview of the content. Tell the students how we expect them to use the material, and last, define or explain unfamiliar terminologies. Second, body of the lecture. Organization. Allow time within the lecture to summarize key ideas and prepare relevant examples to illustrate key ideas. Observe nonverbal clues. And last, closing the lecture. Answer any question raised at the beginning of the lecture and provide closure for the lecture. Restate what you expect the students to gain from the lecture material and give concluding. Number 2, record video live lecture and show present it in the class. Number 3, upload your live lecture video in the YouTube, Facebook, and send the link to your teacher. Assessments has always been an integral part of the teaching and learning process. The use of computer adaptive tests is one of the recent advancements in assessment. It is a design which add a great deal of efficiency to testing the process. Assessment result can be utilized for a variety of things. It offers insightful information about students' learning and acts as a benchmark for their advancement. ICT-based students' assessments will make it easier for teachers to get feedback straight immediately.